Nobody saw this coming as the Pittsburgh Steelers have made a major decision regarding their quarterback position. My name is Peyton Kleppe, and on today's episode of Steelers Digest, we'll be breaking down the latest Pittsburgh Steelers reports and analysis regarding the Pittsburgh Steelers football team. As the Pittsburgh Steelers have dealt with a ton of different quarterbacks this offseason, a few different details have come out regarding their rookie draft pick. Before we get into the latest reports regarding the Steelers, if you guys are not already currently subscribed to the channel, only 9% of our current viewers are actually currently subscribed. We're trying to get to that 2K mark. So if you could click that subscribe button down below, it'll really help us out, really help us grow this channel. Let's get right into it. So the Pittsburgh Steelers have obviously dealt with a ton of different quarterback controversy this whole offseason, but Mason Rudolph has been reported to be mentoring Steelers' new rookie quarterback, Will Howard. This is a good thing to hear coming out of Pittsburgh. Obviously, this whole offseason, it was pretty much a decision that the Pittsburgh Steelers were set on Aaron Rodgers, and they didn't bring in any other quarterbacks but Aaron Rodgers. You know, he's the guy that the Pittsburgh Steelers have waited for this whole offseason, but we are in the middle of OTAs, and he is still not here. He is still not a Pittsburgh Steeler, so the main guy, the number one starter at the moment, is Mason Rudolph. And it's really cool to see Mason Rudolph helping Will Howard out because, you know, when Mason Rudolph did get drafted to the Pittsburgh Steelers, Big Ben, our Hall of Fame quarterback, really wasn't too happy about it. And he was not really into mentoring Mason Rudolph. You know, if you look back, Ben definitely made some comments that he wasn't going to mentor Mason. So it is cool to see that Mason's really embraced Will Howard with open arms, and he's been helping him out, you know, teaching him what it's like to be a pro. Obviously, Mason Rudolph has had a lot of ups and downs in the NFL. Obviously, that whole Monday night or Thursday night football game where he got hit in the head with the helmet. We go on to lose that game in Cleveland, I believe. But we still make the playoffs that year. And then goes to Tennessee, or stays in Pittsburgh, wins 4 games, almost wins a playoff game against the Bills, then heads to Tennessee, has another pretty up and down season, and now he's back to the team that drafted him. So, you know, if somebody knows anything about football, it's going to be Mason Rudolph. This guy has seen a ton, and it's really great to see him helping Will Howard out. You know, Mason Rudolph obviously is the assumed starter of the Pittsburgh Steelers this season until Aaron Rodgers does arrive. If Aaron Rodgers arrives in the meantime, you know, Mason Rudolph is taking those quarterback 1 reps, like I was saying, and running the offense as if he's the first one on the field this season. He's also rocking that mustache. Obviously, our offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, he's got the mustache too. So, you know, maybe that's a connection, but who knows? Mason Rudolph taking those number 1 quarterback reps. But, you know, like I said, he's also helping the next generation develop as well. Rudolph has already started taking 6th-round pick and rookie quarterback Will Howard under his wing as the team works through organized team facilities. So this is great to hear. You know, Will Howard is a guy that he's coming off a huge championship win coming out of Ohio State. This guy has obviously definitely also had some ups and downs in his college career. You know, started off at K-State, had a lot of success, but, you know, also had to deal with that COVID year. And, you know, he eventually did transfer to Ohio State where, you know, he definitely had some ups and downs there too. But, you know, this guy's a big quarterback. He's a smart dude. He's from Philadelphia. I mean, I guess Pennsylvania. Not really the Pittsburgh area. He's more towards Philly. So, but he's a Pennsylvania guy. He's 6'4", 6'5". He's built like Big Ben, Josh Allen. You know, if you see pictures of him next to other dudes, he's a big dude, and that's what we want at quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. You know, the guys in the past that had a ton of success for us were obviously Big Ben, 6'4", 6'5", and Scary Terry Bradshaw in the 70s. Scary Terry Bradshaw was only like 6'2", 6'3", but still a bigger guy. And, you know, last year our starting quarterback was only 5'11" in Russell Wilson, and he was dealing with a lot of issues, you know, just scrambling around the pocket, maybe even seeing over the offensive line. So getting two solid quarterbacks in Mason Rudolph and Will Howard in the quarterback room, you know, 2 physically strong dudes. It's very helpful for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they look to find that franchise quarterback since Big Ben's, you know, retirement a few years ago. But, you know, Will Howard also made some comments on his situation with Mason Rudolph and how Mason Rudolph has been helping him out. He did say that he has been awesome. I just think the vibe in the quarterback room is really cool. He's a super cool dude, really welcoming. Me and Mason, I knew we'd hit it off. He's a great dude, man. He's helped me a lot, and looking forward to continuing to work with him. So, when the two guys in the quarterback room do get along and not really button heads, it's definitely helpful for the team because they're just going to try to help each other grow. And Mason's obviously trying to make Will Howard the next guy up, as Mason Rudolph may want to take off next year. If he thinks that, hey, Will Howard's got a better chance to be the starter in Pittsburgh, I want to go somewhere else, he could go and leave the team once again. But it is cool to see that he is embracing Will Howard with open arms and, help him progress to be an NFL quarterback. But obviously, Will Howard did say some comments on his first couple of days in OTAs. He said, the first day was a work in progress. I didn't feel great about my first day just coming off the field, but it was a good learning experience for me. I wasn't expecting to be perfect on my first day. I'm not going to be perfect. That's the thing. You got to learn. And obviously, that is true. With more reps, this dude's going to only get better. And I think most Steelers fans, we do believe in him. And I hope he does see the field this year at some point. It would be cool to see Will Howard slinging the football for the Pittsburgh Steelers. We will see him in preseason, so that will be exciting to see. But anyways, he said you got to learn, especially me being young. You're going to be able to have to roll with the punches and know what you're going to have to make some mistakes, especially, being a rookie. There's a ton of guys that, come into the league. They have a ton of success early, and they have that rookie wall where, it starts getting rough for them, but some can get over that hump, some can't. But I do believe in Will Howard, and he probably won't be forced into that starting quarterback position right away. So he will have some time to kind of watch Mason Rudolph play or Aaron Rodgers, learn from them, and kind of just take a back seat to the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback position. Because I think we all do believe in Mason Rudolph at the moment. Like I said, this guy's been through a ton of controversy, been through a ton of just craziness not on off the field, but on the field for sure. And I just believe in him. He's coming back to the team that drafted him. He's perfect quarterback for Arthur Smith's offense. He got a big receiver in DK Metcalf. He's got a great tight end in Pat Freiermuth, another great tight end in Darnell Washington. He's got that wide receiver 2 position, Calvin Austin, and he's got that young receiver in Roman Wilson at that slot wide receiver position, who, Roman Wilson did say that Mason Rudolph is an elite quarterback. That's what he said. We will have to wait and see. I do believe that Roman Wilson's going to try to show some flashes on the field this season if he can get our offense down and he could just stay on the field, stay healthy. Obviously, he did deal with that hamstring injury, so but we will have to wait and see. Unfortunately, that is all I have for you guys tonight on Steelers Digest. If you guys are not already currently subscribed to the channel, click that subscribe button down below. Thank you so much. Here we go, Steelers.